Hi there. So this is a video where we're going to open a WordPress backend and we're going to take a look at how to edit a page and create a new page using the Visual Editor Backend Editor. So the first step is to open up the browser, go to your WordPress website and find the login page. Now it's usually your domain followed by wp-admin as you see here. That will link you to the login page. Pop in your username, so that one's already correct for me. Pop in your password. So this is the WordPress admin panel, which you're probably familiar with, but if not, it's fairly simple. If you've got a blog, you post to go in here. If you've got a portfolio, so on and so forth. We want to edit a page today to look at Visual Editor, so we're going to hit Pages. So at the moment we have a homepage, a contact us page, a coming soon page, and I've started to draft an about by Rascal page here. Now if I open up the website, you can see what it looks like essentially. This is the homepage. So if we click on that one, it will show us what the home page looks like in the back end. So this is Visual Composer. So Visual Composer works in terms of rows and columns. So as you can see by the grey area around, this is one row right here. And in that row, if we consider it like Excel, this is the row, we have one column, this is the column. So inside that row and column there is an image, which in this case is an image placed into a text block, which I will show you how to do all this later on. We then have another row which has another text block in this column, which has some text, a link to an email address, and some social icons. Now each of these things, which probably look alien to you, are essentially just elements that you can add. So you see a little plus button here. So we could add a new social icon if we wanted to do, or we could add a new text block. You hit that plus there. There's a text block. Now each of these comes with their own settings and is already pretty much already done for you. You just choose roughly what you want. So I want to put a social icon in. Go, right, what type is it going to be? How's it going to look? Is it going to be circle or normal? Well, as you can see, those ones are normal, so we're going to hit normal. Type of icon is it going to be? Well, we want one for, let's just say, who knows, Google Plus. Where did you go? There you are. So we're going to use Google Plus. We're not going to set custom size, we're going to use the very large size. And we're going to pop the link down. So this is your page on Google Plus basically. For now I'm just going to use my own website because it's easier just to show you. Target self, so does it open in the window itself, or does it open in a new window or the parent window? This one basically never used. You don't necessarily want people to click off your website when they click on stuff. You want it to open a new page, so you're probably going to choose that one. So icon color, it's self-explanatory. You don't really need me to work on that. Icon hover color is going to be a little different. It's going to be black, so we'll drag that one back over here. Alrighty, okay. So we're going to hit Save Changes. This is going to add this social icon, which we selected to be a Google Plus image, onto the home page. So we want to make sure that that's what we want to do. So we're going to hit Preview Changes. That will open up a new page which previews what it's going to look like. So that was the home page before without this. We added this social icon right there. Alright, seems to work. If I click on it, opens it up in a new window, opens up my personal website. So that's great. That's how we can edit a page. Fairly simple. That's for social icons. Each one of the elements that you can choose from has those sort of options. Let's get rid of that social icon there, because we don't want it basically. We can then hit update, and that resaves the actual home page. So you could also edit the image and the text. So we'll have a look at that. We'll edit the text there. So this shows you the text that's available. Now currently that's in a second heading tag, which is why, as you look at it, it's a lot larger. Now that's great if we want it as the heading, but you don't always. So you may have this toolbar already showing, you may not. If you don't, just press that button there. Select the text that you want. Now your choices are fairly obvious. Ignore pre for the most part. Heading 1, you only want that as your main heading for search engine optimization reading. So basically use that only on the main heading. It's probably already used, so if I were you, if we click on that page, for instance, a page that's not the home page, the heading is already here. So ignore heading 1 for the most part. Use heading 2, use heading 3, use what you want. So we want this to be a little smaller, say. Hit heading 3. Most of the stuff that you're going to do is going to be in this paragraph text. So that's just like general standard text, so we can change it to paragraph. We can save that. I don't want to save it because I'm already quite happy with it, so I'm going to click close. Well, that's how to edit a text block. You can also edit this image. Now you can place an image in a different way to how I have here. So I've put a text block in, and I've clicked add media there, and I've added this image. I've also put some spacing at the top just to make it so that it doesn't show right at the top when you first come in for this particular page because it's quite small. So I didn't have to do that. There's two ways of skinning a cat, if you like. So we could add a new image and show you the other way to do it. So the other way would be to add a single image right there. If we select the image, you can upload your own files. You just hit select files there, but I already have the file that I want to use. It's that one. You can see the width and the height. I'm going to hit set image, so that's the one. So here we've got image size. Now if you don't select anything, it's going to choose the thumbnail size, which is pretty small. They're all fairly self-explanatory. On this case, we're going to choose the full size. So the image alignment, we want it in the center. We're going to make it look just like the other one that's there, basically. Image style, you can do certain things, but for now we're going to leave that. If you don't know what something is, generally just leave it. Link to a large image, no, don't need a link. Don't need an animation. Don't need a delay before the animation if we don't have one, so save changes. So in that goes. So if we hit preview changes, we should see 2 of that particular image appearing. There you go. So we've achieved the same thing there. We've just done it a different way. 2 ways of skinning a cat. Personally, with the text block side of things, you can add some spaces in. You could do it the same with single image as well. If you hit the edit button there, you'll notice up the top there's a second tab which is called design options. You can hit that and you can add some margin, which is essentially just space at the top. So if we add, say, 150, now you don't have to add this pixels bit, it will just add it itself if you leave it as 150 and hit save changes. Preview those changes and you'll watch it drop down, and this is the 150 pixel gap. So we could have done it that way. We don't really want 2 images, so we're going to get rid of one or the other. In this case, I'm just going to get rid of that one. So off it goes. That's all back to how it was, which is fine by me. Update. Okay, so that's all great. That's how you create your own edit of a page, basically. So what about when you want to create a new page and you want to make it link to one of these, appear in the menu, basically. So the best way to do it in that case, I'm just refreshing the page so you can see that it hasn't changed. Let's create a new page. That's the start. We want to create a new page. Let's create a new about page. We're just going to swap this around, so we're going to have this text at the top up here, and we're going to have that image underneath. So underneath pages, you'll see that there's this add new. There's also a button up there, and if we click all pages, that button will still be there. Add new. So I've made a draft here. We're not going to use that draft because you've seen how to edit using Visual Composer. Let's add a new page. Okay, so we're going to call this one about, and then the company name right there. Okay, so we have choices. We can use just a standard WordPress editor. We can use source code, which essentially you're never going to use unless you're a web designer. Or we can use Visual Composer, which is what this tutorial is about, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to hit Backend Editor there, and that opens Visual Composer. Now when you first do it, it gives you some options. You can use predefined layouts, essentially. We're not going to do that. We're going to start from scratch, so we're just going to add an element. Now we could just add a text block, because that's what the first thing is going to be. But just to show you, we're going to use add element, text block. Up it comes. So there, in the first row and the first column, it's added this text block. I've copied the text that I want to paste, so I'm going to paste that in. You'll notice that it comes up in H2. We don't want that. This is a different page. We're going to have it in paragraph. Okay. Let me save those changes. So there you go. We've got a text block on the left-hand side there. It's in this row and that column. We could create new columns. We could divide the page up into 3, say, by clicking that. We could add different stuff here. In this case, we're not going to. We only need one column. Now, we can either append the image to the same row and column, just by adding it by clicking append to that column. We can put the image before that text, or we can put it after the text, or we can add a new element in a new row. So if we're going to do that, we'll hit single image there. You'll notice that it's created a second row. You can see the difference where the grey ends and the white starts, and you've got the new options again. Let's pop the image in. This is the same as before. We know how to do this. We want it to be the full size image. For now, we're going to leave the image alignment for left because I want to show you that there's a way of centering stuff without having to worry about that. That's all fine. Save changes. Okay, let's take a look at it. Hit preview. So that's what it looks like right now. Everything else on this website is centered. So let's make it centered. We're gonna do that in a different way. So we could edit the text block, and we could take that and we could hit center, and we could do that for the image as well, and we could make sure that it's all going on the way it should. However, this row and these columns have their own settings as well. So if you click on that one, that's the column settings. So you have a few design options in terms of adding margin and things like that, and a few other options here. Generally speaking, don't worry about these. You also have the row options. Now this is what we're looking for, because inside the row settings you can choose how text aligns. So if we hit center, and just so you can see the other options, we'll scroll down and hit save changes. Okay, that's done. So that row will now be centered. This row, on the other hand, still has a text align of left. So let's have a look. We'll preview it. That's centered, that's not. Let's test it for a single image. Text align center. This is for the row which contains the image. Save changes. Preview. Okay, so what's happening there is the single image's text alignment is overwriting that of the row. So if I was to write some text underneath that single image, it would appear centered. Because the row has that setting. Okay, but the image has another setting which is overwriting. So generally the element's individual settings will tend to overwrite the row or the column setting. So you just have to be aware of that. So we're going to edit that single image. We know that there's an image alignment section there. We're going to hit center, save the changes. We don't need that bit of text, so that we're just going to bin. Off it goes. We're going to hit preview again. Okay, ideal. That's roughly what I was looking for. So as we're editing this, we can choose to publish it, which will create the page. We won't publish it to the menu, however, so we have to take an extra step there. Just before we do publish it, I just want to take you through some of the other options on the page. So here you have the parent, so you can choose another page to be the parent page. You would only ever really do that if you wanted it to be a drop down in the menu. So if you wanted to hover over news and media and then it came up with about, you might select the parent page of this about page to be news and media. You also have the template, so included within the WordPress theme that you have, they've created a number of templates so that you can design certain pages. So a blog masonry style, a contact page, full width page, a landing page, or a WooCommerce page. That's basically a page to allow you to sell products. So almost everything is going to be in the default template. Okay, order, just essentially don't worry about. Custom teaser, in this case this is an extra Visual Composer thing, don't worry about it. You can set a featured image, but you probably wouldn't do that unless it was a blog post. If it was a blog post, we'd set a featured image, click that, it would choose the image that we would display on the post. We choose that, but this is a page, it doesn't need a featured image. Okay, then you have a load of different options. Now this will depend on your theme and what your theme author has done. For instance, in this one you can choose the page background color. You can choose a whole load of things. As we scroll down, you'll see stuff. Essentially just play around with it and see what you like, see what you don't like, and if you have any trouble, just contact your theme author and say, you know, what's going on here. Predominantly though, for almost everything, unless you want to do something complex, you can pretty much just ignore it. Okay, so let's publish this page. So it's published, but as I said, if we refresh the actual website, just because it's published doesn't mean that it's going to show in the menu. Now, the menu, to get it to show in the menu, you hover over Appearance and you choose Menus. Now, because we've published that page, under this Pages section here, we have the new page, and we can tick that and we can add it to the menu. So this is the menu currently. The way I've designed it is that contact page actually links to the Contact Us, but these four, right now, they all just link to this Coming Soon page. So now that we've got the actual About Bye Bye Rascal page, we're going to add it to the menu. It appears at the bottom there, so you have choices. We want it at the top. You can also, as you see, it's indented, so we can choose it to be a child, basically, a drop down of the one above it. We're not going to do that. We want it to be on the main page there. Now, this is a previous page. We need to get rid of that one. So to do that, we hit that drop down. Here's your options. We just want to remove it. This is the actual page that we just created. As you can see, everything there is in capitals, and I don't want that part to show on the menu. Literally just want it to say about, so we're just going to change that. You've got plenty of options there. They're all fairly self-explanatory. If you hover down, you can see things. Now, these generally refer to things that you have set in your theme. If you're not sure about them, just ignore them. So that's that. That is quite literally done. If we just pull that back up, you can see the menu on full sides. That's done. Now, you can set different menus. You can create new menus, and each menu has a location. This is the top navigation menu, which is, in this case, that one there. You're generally going to find that it's called top menu or main navigation, something along those lines. So that's the one that you edit to. If you have more than one menu, you can choose between them up here, but in this case we've only got one. If we hit save menu now, that About Bye Bye Rascal should change to About, and we should actually be able to get to it by clicking that. So right now when we click that, it brings up this page, this coming soon page. If we save the menu here and refresh this, so this is the coming soon page, but if we hit about, hey, we get about Bye Bye Rascal. There you go. So that's how you create a page and add it to the menu. It is fairly simple. If you're not sure about something, generally ignore it and don't be afraid to press buttons. It's pretty hard to break things. Press buttons, change things, preview them. If they're not working, change it about again. Alright, that's it.